Ready?
Meeting called to order of the Brownsville Independent School District Board of Trustees regular board meeting scheduled for today, January 17th, 2006 at 5:30 at the Administration Building. Will everyone please rise for a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance? Ours, lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one and indivisible.
Thank you. A roll call. Everyone's here with the exception of Mr. Aguilar will not be attending. He's under the weather, and hopefully he'll get well soon. Ms. Susan Galvan is temporarily delayed. She will be joining us shortly. Move on to item number 5, recommend approving the agenda of the regular board meeting of January 17th, 2006. With any corrections, Dr. Salkowski?
Mr. President, under conference presentation, item A8 will not be addressed in the meeting tonight, A8. Under item A14 will not be addressed also under general function. Under budget amendments, item C23 will not be addressed. And under contracts, item D33 will not be addressed. And then under closed meeting, item A44, pages 320 through 322 are to be replaced. Changes are highlighted. Everyone want me to go through those again? Are we okay?
Everybody got them?
A8, 8, 14, 23, 33.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move. I second.
Motion is second. All those in favor signify by raising hands, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Item 6, recommend approving the minutes of the regular board meeting December 6, 2005 with any corrections. Any comments, any corrections? Mr. Munoz?
Yes, sir. I have 2 additions I'd like to consider on the December 6th minutes.
Go ahead.
On page 009, item 15, I would like to add at the end of item 15, President Lehman requested a quarterly report on ADA progress to be provided the board. I recall that you asked the administration to provide us with a quarterly report on ADA progress.
Can we say President Lehman?
President Lehman.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Yes. The next item I have is relative to item number 34 on page 12. And it also is an addition. I would like to add at the end of item 34, Dr. Rita Hernandez will be program manager for item 34. I believe it's...
You got that, Norma? We can make those corrections.
What was item 34?
Item 34.
Yeah, but what was it for? You have 34 there?
Agenda item about
The LEP pilot program. LEP pilot program.
You okay with that, Don?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Anything else?
That's it.
Further
Thank you.
comments? Okay. Recommending a motion to recommend approval of the minutes of December 6, 2005.
Move to approve.
There's a motion. Second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Before we go to the superintendent's report, I want to acknowledge that we have a new area administrator, and her name is Janet Hawkins, Hannah Cluster, so we want to welcome on board. And of course, at the last year, Ms. Pena, you came on board, so nice to have you back too. We move on to item 8, superintendent's report. 8, conference presentation. 1 January is School Board Recognition Month. Dr. Salkowski.
Mr. President, thank you, board members. As you know, our Board of Trustees has a tremendous impact on our school district and a huge responsibility. Each year in Texas in January, all school board members are recognized and honored. Tonight is our recognition, which gives us an opportunity to tell our board thank you for all the hard work that they do for our school and caring for our students. And to show our appreciation, some of the campuses have placed signs and baskets, and we want to thank all of the different clusters providing the signs and things that you see in the board members. But I would also like to personally present each one of you a plaque to show our appreciation of your efforts.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mr. Lehman is our board president. Next will be Mr. Munoz, our vice president. Our board secretary, Dr. Escobedo, Jr. Next will be one of our board members, Mr. Joe Kalunga. And also Mr. Herman Otis Powers, Jr. And the other two people, Mr. Lehman, Ms. Galvan, which is coming, and then, of course, Rolando Aguilar, who was in the hospital, and he's still sick, but he sends his wishes tonight. Let's give those two board members a hand.
Any comments from Mr. Powers?
Thank you, President Lehman. First, my mother and I want to thank everybody that sent cards and flowers and calls, and especially the BISD Board of Trustees, Dr. Z, and all the BISD administration, the schools. You find out who your true friends are, but to be a board member is something special. And my dad, when I first ran, is one who said, he said yay and he said no, but stick to it. And he's three things he taught me in life. One, you treat people fairly. Two, you have impeccable work ethics. And three, your word is your bond. And so this is a special time, and I want to thank everybody out there, because when all of us that are sitting here appreciates what y'all do to us, what you tell us that we're at the malls or whatnots, and it's hard, folks. It's really hard, because sometimes you got to make tough calls. And when you raise that right hand, some people are going to love you, some people are going to hate you. But we're here for what's best for the district as a whole, and our hearts are truly, truly in it. If you look at us, look in their eyes, and you see passion. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Powers. I'm pretty sure you speak for most or all of us here on the board. And thank you very much to all the staff and all the district personnel. Thank you very much. We move on to item number 2, recognition of the 2005-2006 UIL Practice Math Meet. Dr. Solkowski.
I'm going to have Ms. Carla Merriweather help me with this presentation.
Good afternoon. President Lehman, Dr. Zolkowski, members of the board. On October 15th, November 12th, and December 10th, the BISD held practice math meets. The hosting schools were Bistado, Perkins, and Bella. All the middle school students were able to compete in all 3 meets, but 4th and 5th grade students competed on the date of their indicated school UIL zone. Students in all grade levels competed in calculators, number sense, and general math. There were individual awards per grade level per event. The maximum number of students who participated per school in each grade level and each event were 5. On an average number of students who participated were about 100. I would like to thank the parents, the sponsor teachers, and principals who helped make these meets so successful. If you are present, please stand to be recognized. At this time, I would like to recognize 3 middle schools who hosted these meets. On October 15th, we had Bistado Middle School, Miss Alma Cardenas Rubio, if she's here. On November 12th, we had Victor Caballero, Principal Perkins. And December 10th, we had Sylvia Centeno, Principal at Vela Middle School. At this time, I would like to recognize all of the first place winners in the elementary level. Go. Move up in the front. Okay, in general math, we had Mario Adame, Jacob Benavides, Danny Benavides, Vanessa Botello, Cynthia Garcia, Shane Lewis, Oscar Osonio, Julian Perez, Pedro Ramos, Jorge Rocha, Claudia Terran, Martha Villalpando. In number sense, Mario Adame, Daniela de la Cruz, Shane Lewis, Brianna Nelson, Julian Perez, Stacy Rodriguez, Carlos Sandoval, Ian Santos, William Schnabel, Claudia Terran, Jonathan Torres, Martha Villalpando. Calculator, Mario Dame, Aaron Barrera, Jacob Benavides, Kevin Casas, Rodrigo Chareas, Adolfo Gonzalez, Alexis Mendoza, Thomas Rogues, Stacy Rodriguez, Alfonso Torres, Marco Torres, and Martha Villalpando. These are our elementary winners. Let's congratulate them.
Congratulations. Keep up the good job. Congratulations. Where do you go to school? Congratulations. You get your mind. Congratulations. I love your eyelashes. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Look very nice, very handsome in your tie.
Good job. 3 for 3.
Very nice. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
We're real proud of you. Good job.
Yes.
Now, at this time, I'd like to recognize the middle school winners.
My grandma watches you on TV all the time. Yes. This way. So we can see you. This way.
A number sense, we have Catherine Duazo, Robert Osonio, Ricardo Peña, Carla Perez, Hernan Sandoval, Nancy Yee. Calculator, Jonathan Berg, Leslie Donache, Ashley Dominguez, Shane Lane, Mariel Mortala, Christian Zacharias, Jonathan Berg, Elizabeth Diwali, Catherine Duazo, Christopher Green, Gerardo Guevara, Ricardo Peña, Carla Perez, Arturo Sosa. Thank you very much for those winners.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. You keep it up. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
What's next? Recognize campus.
Thank you very much. Item number 3, recognition of 2005 BISD recognized campuses. Dr. Solkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman, school board members, audience. It's a great pleasure that we recognize our schools. Last year we had 11 recognized schools. This year we have 17 recognized schools. Our improvement is evident by the hard work that our teachers, our principals, and of course our students and parents who help us in our communities. Tonight we're going to recognize those 17 schools. I would ask the board members to come down in front so we could take some pictures because we're going to go school by school. But before we do that, I'd like to give all of our schools in our school district a big applause, please. Miss Brown. Miss Brown.
Mr. Lieben, Dr. Zokalski, members of the board, it looks like we have a lot to celebrate tonight. We have our 17 BISD recognized campuses. We've invited each of the schools to come tonight, their campus administrator, a teacher, a parent, and a student. And just for the record, to remember what constitutes a recognized campus, recognized campuses are required to have 70% passing rate for all students in reading, English, language arts, writing, mathematics, social studies, and science for all applicable subpopulations. Okay, we'll begin our roll call. For our middle schools, Stell Middle School. Principal, Acacia Emil. Area Superintendent is Brett Springston. Thank you, Stell Middle School. Our next recognized middle school is Vela Middle School. Sylvia Centeno is the Vela principal, and the area assistant superintendent is Jana Hawkins.
my friend? Real good. Yourself? Good. Pretty good to see you again. How you doing? Congratulations. Congratulations.
Over there, over there. They want your picture.
Congratulations to Bela. We'll begin with our elementary recognized campuses. Aiken Elementary, Frank Ortiz is the Aiken principal. Area Assistant Superintendent is Mary Jo Monfiles. Congratulations, Aiken. Next, we'd like to acknowledge Egley Elementary, Principal Christina Bridgewater, Area Assistant Superintendent Jana Hawkins. Congratulations, Egley. Let me call on Castaneda Elementary, Principal Esmeralda Tamez, Area Assistant Superintendent Rachel Ayala. Congratulations, Castaneda. Our next recognized campus is Gallegos Elementary. Lucy Green is the Gallegos principal. The area assistant superintendent is Berta Pena.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Gallegos Elementary. Next up is Garden Park Elementary. Principal is Carlos Garza. Area Assistant Superintendent is Brett Springston. Congratulations, Garden Park. Our next recognized campus, Longoria Elementary. Donna Alcala is the Longoria principal. Area Assistant Superintendent is Rachel Ayala. Congratulations, Longoria. I'd like to call on Ortiz Elementary. Sandra Lopez is the Ortiz principal. Area Assistant Superintendent is Brett Springston. Congratulations to Ortiz Elementary. Next up is Paredes Elementary. Jay Harris is the Paredes principal. The area assistant superintendent is Jana Hawkins. Congratulations, Paredes. I'd like to call on Pettis Elementary. Ruben Martinez is the principal. The area assistant superintendent is Jana Hawkins. Collection of those, right? Congratulations to Pettis Elementary.
Okay.
I'd like to call up Putinette Elementary. Ernestina Trevino is the Putinette principal. Area Assistant Superintendent is Rachel Ayala.
Ready? So far.
17, 19.
37.
Un poquito.
40.
Le dije todo lo mismo.
40.
Congratulations, Putinette Elementary. Next, we'd like to call up Resaca Elementary. Principal is Carlos Paredes. Area Assistant Superintendent is Rachel Ayala.
Thank you.
37. 40. 46.
Congratulations, Resaca Elementary. Now we'd like to acknowledge Russell Elementary. Principal is Richard Galvan. Area Assistant Superintendent is Brett Springston.
Ole.
You're long.
Congratulations, Russell Elementary. It's my pleasure now to call Sharp Elementary. The principal of Sharp is Terry Alarcon. The area assistant superintendent is Rachel Ayala. Good job, guys.
Wrong one. Oh, it's Tracy.
You want to check the picture?
Can't read it.
Congratulations, Sharp Elementary. Now we'd like to acknowledge Victoria Heights Elementary. Principal is Blanca Lombari. The area assistant superintendent is Jana Hawkins. Congratulations, Victoria Heights Elementary.
The last Congratulations.
Our final recognized school to be acknowledged tonight is Eteria Elementary. Principal is Norma Linda Gallegos. Area Assistant Superintendent is Brett Springston. Congratulations, Eteria Elementary. This concludes our recognized award ceremony. I'd like to note that we have fully 1/3 of our campuses recognized, which is certainly something to celebrate. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Susan.
Yeah, if you could just get me down there.
You have anything more, sir?
Thank you.
Yeah. Exactly.
We had 17 flags.
Congratulations to all those campuses that are recognized. We move on to item 4, but before we do that, let the record show that Ms. Galvan has joined us. Item 4, presentation of the Brownsville Independent School District's financial report for the period ended October 31st, 2005. Dr. Salkowski.
Mr. President, we had that as presented, and after reviewing those with Mr. Sanchez, we're in fairly good shape already, and we just started our financial year. We'll open it if there's any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Munoz?
Yes, I have several. I wonder if Mr. Sanchez could explain, just give us a little education on page 27. Just run through item 7XXX, other resources, what that indicates.
Mr. Sanchez, are you looking at the revenue or the expenditure side?
I'm looking at item 7, other resources on revenues.
On other resources on revenues.
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Mr. President, board members, Mr. Munoz, specifically the line item, other resources. When we came to you at the beginning of the year, we came to you with about a little over $2 million to finish off the Campus 140, I believe. And then we also carried over some construction projects. That rolls over, and when it rolls over, we show it as other resources. That's why it shows a significant gain there. And then it's reflected that same, then when you go down to the expenditure side, they're reflected in the capital outlay and the 64 million line item there.
And the 69 with the balance, a negative 13,126.
I'm not following you, sir.
We have 56 mil, 69, and then of course the difference is negative 13 million.
Right.
And what is that?
That is the difference there. That's the actual, in other words, we have actually expended more than we have actually budgeted there, and it's probably going to come out of your fund balance from other from other adjustments that we made to fund balance.
So that will have to come out of fund balance?
Fund balance, yes, sir.
eventually. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. The next item that I'd like to point out to you is on page 28, on food service, Fund 101. Looking at employee salaries and employee benefits, the actuals, the middle column there, actual to date, in the first 4 months of this budget, we've expended $1,894,000 in salaries, and we've also expended $902,000 in employee benefits, which is a ratio between the two of them is 47%. I find that to be very high. If I do the same exercise with the rest of the employees in the district, I come up with an 18% ratio, which is consistent with what we ran last year. I took the liberty of looking at last year's budget at this point in time, at the first 4 months, and also the end of the budget. And I think we ended the budget at something like 32% ratio. And but what catches my attention here is that this is the first 3 months, first 4 months, the first third of the budget. If we continue at this rate, we're going to exceed this budget by over $500,000. I think I brought this up before that I've noticed that we seem to have very high expenditures in the personnel portion of the food service budget. I'm wondering why it's so different than the rest of our employees.
Ms. Sanchez.
One explanation, Mr. Munoz, possibly, I can certainly get you more detail, but remember we changed fiscal periods and we have summer feeding, so that summer employees' salaries may be included there, where last year they were not. That may be one of the explanations, but I can certainly provide you with additional information if you so desire.
Okay. Well, I think that it bears looking at because I think that we're going to exceed our budget in this amount, in this account. I saw a trend last year, and I mentioned it, and I believe we did increase the amount that we were budgeting there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. I think last year it was 32%, and we brought it up to 36%, but it looks like we're running 47% to date. So what I'm saying is we need to look at this and see if we have any serious problems there.
We will.
Mr. Munoz, just a comment. Food service probably has some federal money that isn't in yet, but as far as expenditures go, as you recall, they have a pretty good, healthy fund balance in food service, and that they are spending it on equipment. The federal government does not want you to use their money as a savings account. So you will probably see, I would imagine this year, more in expenses than you will in revenue, even though we'll be pretty close, because we don't want to be adding to that fund balance.
Well, this has nothing to do with that, Dr. Z. I'm talking about employee benefits.
I know.
Probably insurance.
I understand. I know where it's at, but what I'm saying is we will balance it off. We may have hired some additional people because we do have the reserve. I understand.
I don't know if our insurance comes through that, but...
Well, we have to fund it under 101, so it comes under that code.
Okay, good. That's it.
Additional comments? Dr. Solkowski, for the record, I noticed in the page 28 on the expenditures, where does the utilities come from? I know that we're charging back the food service for utilities. Where is this item at? I keep asking, and I don't... what would Dr. Solkowski?
It's going to be under 51, probably, I imagine a 63, Lorenzo? Or
It's probably going to show up in other operating 6400 line item,
400.
and it probably hasn't been totally charged, if that is the question.
And my question would be the subsequent year, last year, where did it go? Or how much was that? I noticed that the first year that we transferred was $1.2 million. So I would figure that that's a pretty consistent figure. Dr. Solkowski?
I don't have that number with me. It should be consistent.
Okay, can I have that number? And also, I'd like to know where, it should be a
ledger.
freestanding number or an expense to know that it's budgeted and not mixed or commingled somewhere else, whether it be supplies, other operating, can be other operating, or what's capital outlay technically?
Something
all.
that costs more than $3,000, probably the
So-
last 5 years or more, so it wouldn't come out of there. Probably 64 or 63, the one of those. 6,400, 6,300.
And we're doing this on a quarterly, Dr. Salkowski, or not?
Sanchez, when are we pulling it out? Are we waiting yearly?
We're probably doing it on a quarterly basis.
You check on that.
I'd like to see it reflected, if possible.
We might put an asterisk to it, Mr. Sanchez, in that report.
Okay.
A little asterisk as to what.
We will.
Additional comments? Okay, we move on, thank you. We move on to item 5, presentation of the Brownsville Independent School District's quarterly investment report for the period ended September 30th, 2005. Dr. Salkowski.
We're opening that up to questions.
Any questions on the floor? Mr. Munoz?
Looks good.
Looks good. Let's go.
Longer terms.
Just for the record, what are we yielding overall to the public and know?
3 and 4. Between 3 and 4.
A little over 3.5, right around 3.5. The market right now is recovering very strong, and it's already, all our investments are up at about 4.25. So and the pools are catching up to the CD, so it's pretty balanced. It's
And
pretty
last
balanced.
year's windfall gain, Dr. Salkowski, was what, $2-3 million, $4 million?
I don't have that number.
Not in interest, no, sir. We did not do well in interest. This year, we probably will.
So last year we didn't gain.
No, sir.
Are you sure?
I just wanted to note that based on the numbers we're looking at tonight, if we continue with these numbers, and the numbers are already higher, I'm projecting probably close to $7 million in interest.
Is that about right, Dr. Salkowski?
That's Mr. Munoz. I haven't put a pencil to it. I wouldn't want to.
Let's
Go
hear
year
it
in.
from the finance guy. Can we?
Mr. Sanchez, do you want to guess?
No, but we would probably be about $2 million over probably what is
2 million,
budgeted.
okay. I'm going to take bets, 2 against 7. Thank you. Any additional comments? Okay, we move on to item 7, presentation of the Brownsville Independent School District's quarterly 6. Presentation of the Brownsville Independent School District's quarterly overtime report for the period ended December 31st, 2005. Dr. Salkowski.
We'll answer any questions. Overtime looked pretty good. Most of it is in transportation. If you've noticed, total overall, we've only spent 41%, and we're about halfway through. A lot of it is trips. Also, some of this will come back through trips that are paid out with federal money. So we're in pretty good shape over time.
Any comments or concerns, questions?
Yes,
Mr. Munoz?
I have some observations and some concerns. As far as the high schools are concerned, it looks like there's a wide disparity on the instructional overtime budgets. They run anywhere from Hannah at $12,000 to Pace at $480. That's a huge difference. Why did we budget so? Why aren't we more uniform in what we budget for overtime instruction?
Instruction-wise, depending on the program, Hannah has a large budget because there's a lot of night programs that do go on there. Porter, not as many. You'll see a big jump in Lopez. Lopez because they have the main theater, and so that's why you see differences. But all of those are very well under their budget in overtime, and they manage instructional programs outside of the regular school day. Tutorials probably are in there. I'm going to guess. Am I not right? AAs, tutorials, different things that we offer. And some campuses have more tutorials than others.
I also see that there was no overtime in Porter's maintenance budget, yet the other 4 high schools had some monies.
Part of that is, if you'll notice, the elementaries had that same situation. They usually move money in later. I know one was $2.19 over. It's because that was a quarter hour of an overtime of a custodian. We'll move money in there from the other accounts to balance that up. But what I did look, and I went through the entire report, there was about 10 or 12 that I had concerns about, but it's a matter of managing and moving the money. But when you look at the overall report, we're 41% of our budget.
Additional comments?
Yes, I have some others. I'm going to run down the list. I'm going to do the middle schools here. These are just, I'm wondering why we haven't addressed these things a little more closely. As far as the middle schools is concerned, I see that Perkins, let's see, item 4, let me find item 4. I'm on page 2 of 10 in this report.
Got it.
Perkins has no maintenance budget. Vela has no instruction budget. Lucio has no maintenance budget. Garcia has no instruction or maintenance budget. Stillman has no maintenance budget. Why?
Well, first of all, they may be running tutorials without having custodians stay there, or they may have a night crew that's covering that without overtime, would be one of my guesses. The second thing would be is that even if they use some overtime with custodians, they can always transfer that money from one function to the other. So they probably put it all in instruction because they're using it for tutorials.
Well, we have disparities here. I think there are disparities when I see 23,000 function 11 at Stillman and 0 at Vela, and all Vela would have to draw on is a total of $2,200 if they didn't use it on anything else.
They probably have a grant for that.
Oh, I see.
It's probably a special grant that's funded through that school. See, not everybody gets grants, and so that's where you're going to see some disparity, so you really can't compare one to the other.
Okay, that's a good answer. I have another item here, several other items. Item 6. Athletics on page 7 of 10. It appears that budget has already been exceeded for maintenance.
Yes, sir, that's some overtime. That money needs to be shifted. They may have picked up some money for people that have rented the stadium or revenues that come in when we split gates and stuff. So that may be a possibility. Coach Rodriguez and I talked about that. And we're going to look at that. We need to clean that up, but probably some revenues that have to go in. I know we have around $400,000 going into transportation from people taking field trips. We also have $100,000 that you approved going into some of the maintenance accounts because of the remodeling of the balcony. So all of that flows through there. And so it's a lot of in and out.
All right.
I guess my main concern is the bottom line if I was short. I did speak with my AAs concerning some of the schools this morning in a meeting on some of the accounts that we need to kind of clean up. But basically, we have enough money to shift on those campuses.
Okay. The next item is on page 8 of 10, transportation.
Correct.
And I have some concerns there.
Yes, sir.
We've spent $490,000 in overtime.
Correct.
In the second quarter. We have, in 2 quarters, spent 76% of this budget, overtime budget. So
Correct.
If we continue, I would think the second quarter would be more comparable to the next 2 quarters to come. That first quarter was part of summer. So, but if we continue at $500,000 a quarter, we're going to bust this budget pretty good.
First of all, Mr. Munoz, you must recall that
$800,000.
When a school takes a field trip or we play ball games, that money comes from the campuses out of 36 and flows back into 34, which is that transportation account. You may see this because all you're seeing is the expenditure side. You're not seeing the revenue side because revenue, when a person takes a trip, the revenue comes back in at 34. Part of it goes to 11 for salaries. Some of it will go for parts, and then most of it goes for gas. So if I take a trip and I pay $2 or $3, I can't even remember what it is a mile, I collect that out of the campus account, shift it back into 34. Part of that has not taken place. The second thing is you're only seeing the expenditure side. Revenue has increased also because, remember, we budget our 36, our 34s and our 36s.
Well, this is for overtime, not gas.
I understand. But if you take a trip and take the band, take 8 buses, I had to still put gas in it, so it comes back in, and I put it into that account to cover it. So the revenue's coming back, which you don't see.
Nevertheless, we're busting this budget, and it needs to be looked at very closely.
Well, the field
we looked at we had that problem with security last year, and I'm pleased to see that it improved dramatically after you looked at it.
Well, all I can say about transportation is we bus our athletes home. after school. We bus our drama people. We bus our chess kids if they play late at school. We bus a lot of people after the regular day, and those bus drivers do get overtime for that. I don't want to cancel any of those programs that I think would affect our students, but we will look at it, Mr. Munoz.
Okay, good. And on that same line, I mentioned security. They are underneath their budget. So what happened last year, certainly.
We hired a few more people.
That's right. And
That's how you avoid overtime.
Well, that's good. We know how to cure the problem then. Item 9, I've got one last item here. Let's see. Overall, we've used, let's see, 40% of our overtime budget. The second quarter is very high.
Which one is it, Mr. Munoz?
The second quarter for on page 10 of 10.
Yes, it is, because 400,000 of that were for trips and for a lot of things we do instructional after school in that second quarter.
Yeah.
And that, if you look at that number, you need to take 409. You take $500,000 out of there, and that's what transportation was. It wasn't that much. That's where the money is. It's in the trips that we do. It's in the instructional things that happen after school. We bus those kids. No one walks home. So, and Mr. Chirinos does a good job with it.
Additional questions?
That's it.
So overall, we're under? Is that?
We're 41%. We're about halfway through it. We have about $2.2 million in overtime, which is not a lot for this size district when you're looking at a $500,000, excuse me, budget. It's a lot, but we have a lot of things we do after school with kids, and our kids don't have cars and they don't have parents, and that are gonna. Everybody gets picked up by their parents. So we do a lot of things for our children, and so it does cost money.
Well, we know that when we do these budgets.
And Dr. Salkowski, question, just follow up. You said that there is reimbursement that goes to these accounts?
Yes, some of these accounts get reimbursement, but they come in on the revenue side, not on the expenditure side. You're looking at the expenditure side. You're not seeing the revenue side.
Does it, a credit comes back to this function item? Is that the way I
Yes,
understand it?
when we transfer
And
the
just
money.
for the record, what is that amount
Don't
on
know.
an annual basis? What would
don't
be
know.
historically?
I would not give you a number, Mr. Lehman. You would hold me to that figure. I don't have that figure with me.
You can have it on the next report, that way it'll
We'll give you an estimate.
It'll satisfy Mr. Munoz's
Okay.
curiosity.
We'll get an estimate.
Okay, additional
Mr.
comments?
Sanchez, let me direct Mr. Sanchez.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Sanchez, let's get that for him next time. Just an estimate of what we think quarterly we get flowing back in.
That way the numbers will probably look better.
Get that to you.
Additional comments? Okay, we move on to item 7, representation of the Brownsville Independent School District Quarterly Consultant Report for the first quarter for the fiscal year 2005-2006. Dr. Salkowski.
Have any questions, my staff and I will be happy to answer.
Any comments?
Yes, I have a few questions. I'm looking at page 34. Item 1, line 1, is $16,275, and then if you go to item, let's see, item 5, let's see, yes,
Right.
item 5 is $13,175. So we spend a lot of money with this system or
Yes, sir.
individual. Why are we spending additional monies as consultant?
The consultant comes in and does the workshop. As you'll notice, one of them is 1 year and the other one's another year. They come in and do workshops with our teachers on new techniques.
But we pay her a lot of money, and we approve budgets for that.
Right.
Why are we feeding another 16 and 13,000 into that?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Where's the 13,000?
13 is the second year.
Yes,
These
the
are
second
yearly.
year. So each of these 2 years, we're what do we spend a year on these folks? 150,000 something? We just
For one
recently-
company?
No, we're talking about Sharon Wells Consulting Company. This is the math thing.
Vendor.
And we pay her to
Right.
tutor our people and teaching math.
Yeah, she does training.
And we have mechanisms for paying for her travel and so on and so forth. Why are we kicking in another $16,000 a year?
Well, this last year was 13, I think, but whatever the number is, They get into a system. Our principals, who by site-based management want to continue the Sharon Wells program, they have success with it. Different principals have success with different other math programs like Saxon Math. There's Connected Math for middle school. There's all kinds of program math. Move It Math.
How does
investigations? They're all different companies, and all of the companies or whatever program you have to provide consultants, because what's important is not the material; it's the strategies of how to teach it.
we understand all that, but we also understand that we're already paying Sharon Wells Consulting a very healthy fee to provide services here. So who is kicking in these other monies? Who's
a lot of it is federal money.
No. Who is authorizing these payments?
Okay, let me stop. Counselor, the question is, if this lady has a contract and we exceeded $25,000, how is this being circumvented if it's not coming to the board? Is that your question?
No,
technically?
No, it doesn't exceed $25,000 in 1 year.
Well, if she has a contract with us, she's already come to the contract. She's already been authorized by the board.
We've already approved the contract.
Then this 16 is additional.
Yes.
She's already exceeded 25 through contractual obligation. Does that obligate the 25,000 aspect of the, I guess, of the statute? If she's already been paid exceeded 25,000, can she be hired as a consultant, or does she still have to come to the board because she's already exceeded 25,000? You understand the question?
Not really, but let me take a shot at it.
Okay.
Okay. The 25,000, are you referring to the contract amount, or are you referring to the administrative spending limit?
Any vendor has a contract with the district. Whatever it be exceeds 25,000 has been board approved.
Well, my question is, are you asking about what the contract amount is? Because the contract amount can be 30, 40, 50, 100, $1 million. Are you asking if the contract amount is $25,000? And the answer is, I don't know that, because I don't remember what the contract amount was.
I think we exceeded. No, how much was it, Mr. Munoz?
I believe it exceeds 100,000.
And we cannot exceed the contract amount, okay, without coming back to the board. Now, if we exceeded the contract amount, then the administration still can make adjustments through the administrative spending limit. So the total would be the contract amount plus the administrative spending limit.
But this amount here, I mean, these are consultants. This is something that we assume that is not board approved.
I don't know.
And these are contracts brought in under the $25,000 umbrella. Question again: if the vendor has already exceeded 25,000 through contractual obligation, do they?
The contractual obligation would be separate than the administrative discretionary spending. The contract amount would have been, say, $30,000. That's approved by the board. If the administration has its discretionary limit in which it may want to hire additional services or other things within its. Now,
any vendor can come under the $25,000 umbrella.
Yes.
Even though they had a contract.
Yeah, the contract amount is separate because that's what's approved by the board.
I think that was his question. I want to know who approved it.
Well, yes, and that bothers me in that we look at these things, they're presented to us, and we approved it. We were recommended to approve it, and we, upon looking at it, we approved it because we thought it was a reasonable amount of money. But no one here, I don't believe anyone at this table, any board member, knows that we're kicking in another $16,000 and $13,000 to this vendor. I didn't know that. I don't know if anyone else did.
Let Dr. Solkowski answer.
Thank you. Dr. Garcia.
Dr. Zagowski, thank you. Members of the board. Essentially, we did bring an agenda item to you last August or so to contract with Sharon Wells. This is a district-wide initiative we've had for several years for Sharon Wells training as well as the rights to be able to utilize her materials. Essentially, the way I understand it, and I could be totally incorrect, is that these amounts are the actual amounts that are part of the contract agreement that we have. These are just the expenditures for that contract agreement, not necessarily above and beyond.
No, this is above and beyond. This is another account. This has nothing to do, as Counselor just mentioned, this has nothing to do with the approval to hire Sharon Wells program. This is the consultant report. This is different monies.
Let me interrupt again. I think the idea of the consultant's report had nothing to do with any additional work or contracts. This is simply what's coming in under the $25,000 threshold. Right. And the discretion is up to the administration, the superintendent. Question again is, this particular vendor is under contract and yet is showing up as a consultant also and getting additional monies. There's a problem, I guess, conceptually, that you have a contract. Why aren't they coming in through the original contract and then come back and add to that contract? Are they doing the same type of work?
That's part. The consultant is part of the contract. I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Now. It's part of the contract.
Conceptually, there's a problem with it, but anyway.
I understand where the mix-up is, but part of that 25.
Follow up. I'd rather just take it. I don't want to get into legal aspect, and we're going to have to kill.
Another one that piqued my interest was the Drum Cafe. What are we using the Drum Cafe for?
Drum Cafe was used at several schools. It's a motivational tool with our teachers, and we will probably be coming back. We've had more requests. Teachers really got enthused about the Drum Cafe. We used some of it in. You can ask any principal in the district. We'll be bringing that back again because we're reaching that threshold, and we will not cross that threshold. So Mr. Sanchez is working on that one. But the Drum Cafe is a total in-service for teachers. It teaches motivation, teamwork, and it's a real team-building thing. And when I first saw it, I thought, well, it's not going to make it. But I mean, our principals and our teachers really love the Drum Cafe. Okay.
And Martha Morales, what is that?
Martha Morales.
Item 3.
Who is that? Reading consultant. Thank you, Mary Jo.
Okay.
Reading consultant.
Okay.
Additional comments?
That's it.
Questions? Mr. Powers?
No.
No? Okay. Very good. We move on to item 9, notification of Betterment Fund, change orders and contract change orders. Dr. Solkowski.
We have some change orders, got some of our money back on, we'll see if there's any questions on 9. Hector and I visited on these, and we feel real good. We only had a couple of change orders.
Questions on the board?
Yes, I had one or two. On page 73 through 75, it's a $2,752.50 increase. What is that?
Hector?
For Ortiz Paving.
Dr. Sokowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. Mr. Munoz, to answer your question, it's basically cleanup work when we, if you recall way back, when this project was basically substantially complete, we still had some things that we needed to clean up. We were looking at some change orders, and we waited because we're adjusting numbers. That's all it is.
And the other item I had is on page 82 with the Scoggins contract, the $94,000 deduction. Would you explain that, please?
Repeat the question. I'm sorry.
On page 82, there's a $94,423 deduction.
Oh, yes.
What is that for?
That's money coming back. That's part of the Pace Porter renovation projects. That's complete. We did at Porter. We did all the. I think you visited that project when we did the science labs, and at Pace we only did the home economics areas where we did the sewing room and that other room adjacent to it. And because that can't reduce that much amount of work at Pace, so we're getting that money back, the $94,000. It's all coming out of Pace.
Okay, all right. I had a hard time reading some of this. That particular information was very hard to read.
Yes, and it wasn't a real clear copy.
Okay, thank you.
But that's an old project that was out a long time ago. It's trying to get our money back to Mr. Sanchez.
Additional comments?
Thanks.
Okay, move on. B, standing board agenda items. 10, board calendar. Dr. Solkowski.
Do you like to recognize as Board Recognition Month? I do want to thank all of our school board and send our wishes out to Mr. Aguilar. I hope he feels better. I'll be at NABI tomorrow, which is the National Association of Bilingual Education. I'll be doing a presentation. On Saturday, we have our big science, middle school science. I'm excited at Bistero, our big science fair. For those people who are in there, the 24th, we have a facility committee meeting at 5:30. to discuss some future buildings. On the 26th, which is our BISD College and Financial Night, so anyone watching who is looking for finances for college, we have a big BISD Financial Aid Night. Also on the 26th, we have a team building of 8 in Edinburgh. We'll be leaving for that meeting. All board members are not required, but asked to attend on the 26th. In February, our principal for a day will be on the 3rd, which is a Friday. We have a lot of community members who will be principals for a day. On Saturday, we have the middle school, high school history fair on Saturday the 4th. On the 7th, we have a regular board meeting, and also that week is the National School Counseling Week for all of our counselors. On the 11th, we have the ACT test, and our famous spelling bee is on the 11th, so I'm excited that we have some great spellers in our district. On the 20th, we have Fiesta Folkloria. On that Tuesday, we have a board meeting on the 21st. 23rd, we have the Children's Parade at 2:30, and I believe all board members are going to be in the parade. Friday is a holiday for Charo Days, and then we're back in March. Okay. Any questions on the calendar? I would, if you're going on the 26th, please let me know. We're taking a van, so all of us can get to Edinburgh in a van. We're going to leave here at 4:30. That's about a 3-hour meeting, so we won't be back till late, so you won't have to drive.
Any comments on the calendar? Okay, thank you, Doctor. Move on to item 9, public audience. The next item on our agenda is the public comment period. This is the time for citizen staff or students to provide their comments to the board. Statements and questions from the audience will not be permitted during other portions of the meeting, so please let us hear from you now if you have comments to present. To have your comments heard tonight, your name and the subject matter of your comments must appear on the sign-in sheet, which is located in the front of the conference room. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes to complete his or her comments. With all due courtesy, I will strictly enforce that time limit. We have more than the time allotted, so I will apportion the time after the notification. If a group of people want to be heard on the same topic, which we have tonight, the board asks that they designate a spokesperson to avoid needless repetition. The board has adopted rules to preclude the abuse of open forum by, for example, anyone uselessly repeating the same comment or complaint meeting after meeting. All participants must understand that if your comment, in my judgment, constitutes a complaint against an employee or officer, I will interrupt and ask you to stop and direct you to proceed with the BISD's formal grievance procedures, be that of DGBA, FNG, or GF local of our local policy. With those cautions in mind, we will now be glad to hear the general comments. And the board recognition, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items, so keep them brief to about a minute to a minute and a half, please. Villanueva Students Councils, if you want to step forward. Board recognition. Go ahead.
Good evening. We would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to sign up for the public audience portion of your agenda. I would like to introduce ourselves on the behalf of the on the Villanueva Elementary Student Council. My name is Carolina Vela, President, and I also have with me Kayla Rodriguez, Vice President, Cecilia Garza, Secretary, and Brianna Leal, Treasurer. And our sponsor, Ms. Carmen Macias. We are all 5th graders with the exception of Ms. Carmen Macias. And are very excited and to be here this evening with you. We are honorably representing Villanueva Elementary, where we just can't hide our Blue Jay pride. As you are well aware, January has been dedicated to recognizing the Brownsville ISD School Board of Trustees. The following is just a small token of our appreciation for your countless hours of dedication and service to make our school district a better place for all students. We entrust our futures with your decisions at each board meeting, and once again are greatly appreciated for all your hard work.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Today we are all here because of this great event. I would like to thank you all for your hard work, determination, achievements, and decisions. Your decisions are greatly appreciated because without them, BISD would not be as great as it is today. I am thankful for the guidance you give us and the trust us students are able to put in you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kayla Rodriguez, Vice President of Villanueva's Student Council. I would like to thank you for making all the schools in Brownsville, Texas run smoothly and with success for every student. I would also like to thank you for approving all the school dances and chess tournaments. I think you 7 were meant to be school board members. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Greetings, good friends. My name is Cecilia Garza, and I am the Secretary of Villanueva Elementary Student Council. I would like to thank you for letting us be a part of the Student Council. We appreciate the things you've done for our school and us. You've worked so hard to make Brownsville schools lead to successful scores for TAKS and other tests. You've made Villanueva Elementary become a better and safe place for us students. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Good evening to all. I am Student Council Treasurer at Villanueva Elementary. I am thankful for your guidance. As all of you were elected, so was I. I am here to thank you for all the wise decisions you have concluded throughout these exciting years. Throughout your stress and pain, you all were always there for us, and so now we are thanking you for your hard work. All of you provide guidance, focus, and leadership for the communities. I know that sometimes you get stuck on difficult decisions you have already decided and have more to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Aguilar. Mr. Aguilar? He's over here. Is that Mr. Aguilar? Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, ladies. Next is Hudson Elementary Board recognition. Is there a spokesman for Hudson? Yes, sir, Mr. Cantu. You got 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Thank you. I'd like to have the Hannah Cluster come up with me at this time, please. Thank you, Board President, Mr. Pat Lehman, members of the board, of course, the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Solkowski. I am Dr. Oscar Cantu, Senior Principal of Hubert R. Hudson Elementary, and I'm representing the Hudson Cluster in recognizing the board during School Board Recognition Month. As we well know, our public education system is a key to the success of its citizens, providing young adults in the great city of Brownsville with a solid foundation for the future. School boards guide our educational system at the local level, working without pay. Dedicated school board members dedicate their time and expertise to ensure that our students have the skills needed for success. For more than 200 years, school boards have served their country, state, and local communities well and helped shape their future leaders. As we look to the future and the challenges ahead, school board members continue to play an increasingly important role to ensure that our students are prepared to excel. Today's public schools face enormous challenges and great opportunities, making the trustees' role more critical than ever before. Trustees work with community leaders, families, and educators to develop sound educational policies in our district. Trustees as well offer vision, leadership, and work purely for the good of our school children. You've helped us to set high standards in our education system, encouraging us to strive to reach those goals and better prepare students to become productive members of our community. On behalf of the HANA cluster, it is important to recognize your commitment that you as a board deserve in tackling the demanding task of governing our school district. And last but not least, we'd like to also thank Dr. Sukowski, our superintendent of schools, for providing his endless efforts, endless energy, and leadership in making our school district one of the best in the state of Texas. So on behalf of the HANA cluster, we present to each one of you a basket of our token of appreciation. And again, on behalf of HANA cluster, we thank you. This is the kind of basket that you received in front of your tables there. It's a bag, and this goes to Mr. Lehman. And again, thank you very much, board members.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Are you sure?
Thank you. I feel embarrassed, but I got one of these guys. I don't know about you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Feel like Elvis Presley.
Thank you very much.
Next, gee, we missed you. Dagoberto Barrera, Schools. Haven't seen you in a while, Mr. Barrera.
I had a package to give you, but just like all school children, if I give you the package ahead of time, you won't listen to me. Honorable President Lehman.
Lehman.
Thank you. I'm glad you're the president because Joe Cadriel, he sure didn't like my presence. Other board members and my fellow Americans, tonight I have a dream. That was JFK, right? Nah, that was the other brother. And I'm presenting to all of you a very non-controversial topic and an issue of importance. Historical preservation is a growing awareness in our country. Old cities, old buildings, cemeteries, train depots, and museums. Historical preservation is very much alive in Brownsville as our Dempsey building is being preserved for the future. This city was built by strong-willed people who gave their lives to this community in different ways. We as concerned citizens must honor and preserve the memories for future generations to be aware of. These local heroes were and are appreciated now, though some of them have departed. Many past teachers from Brownsville Old High School and from Texas Southmost College have asked me to plead with you to honor this person who am I about to elaborate. This person was not a millionaire like Mr. Bill Hudson to give you a tract of land for a school. This person did not have a chain of grocery stores to promote herself like the Lopez. This person was never in Congress or in the Senate like Mr. Ortiz or Mr. Lucio. This person did not have a PhD like Julieta Garcia. This person will not donate a zoo like the Porters did. This person was never president of the school board like Mr. Pace. This person was never a school principal like Mr. Hanna or a superintendent like Mr. Vestedo. This person did not compose corridos like Dr. Americo Paredes. This person was not a federal judge like Mr. Vela or Mr. Garza. Who is this mysterious person? I'm pleading with you to help me please name the next school in that person's honor. This person was in the classroom all the adult life, teaching a very difficult course with rudimentary tools, old equipment, old class laboratories, and in hot, unventilated barracks. That person was able to reach and produce and energize capable, creative leaders in this old barracks. This person was a strong-willed and respectable educator who was admired by all of those that person touched. Who is this much admired person? Do you know? None other than our jewel of jewels, Miss Barbara Warburton. I plead with you all that I as an unruly student, a boxer and sport activist, respected her, and she brought out a talent in me to the surface to obtain at least 3 degrees. Others in my life were coaches Bob Martin, Jack Love, and Pete Finch. What a terrific crew. She gave her life while others gave money, while others gave politics. They gave land, became judges, and obtained PhDs.
Mr. Barrera.
And wrote corridos. 1 minute. Isn't it better to dedicate a lifetime to education than to give material possessions? I think so. And I approve this message.
Thank you. Nora Chavez, Longoria Elementary Board recognition. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay. Move on to Tim Snyder, Rivera Cluster Board appreciation. We got 30 seconds.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll keep it brief, and I know that'll make everybody happy. On behalf of the Rivera Cluster principals, which include with me right now Oscar Cantu from Garcia Middle School, B. Garcia from Champion Elementary School, and Mary Tolman from Rivera High School, as well as myself, and our area superintendent, Mrs. Bertha Pena, we sent you some goodie baskets, which I know you received today or yesterday. And I just want to thank you on behalf of the cluster for all the work you do, not just for the kids from our side of town, but for all the kids. Okay? And we thank you in many cases, not only as employees, but also as parents for all the work that you do. And we would ask that you would take time all year to reflect on what you do and the thanks that goes with it, because it's Board Appreciation Month, like your birthday. You know, everybody loves you on your birthday and acknowledges you. But we want you to be acknowledged all year and think about all year of all the good you do. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder, and thank you, Rivera Cluster. Next item is Ortiz Elementary, Andrea Valdez.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lehman, fellow school board members, and Dr. Zulkowski. My name is Andrea Valdez, and I am a 5th grade student at U.S. Congressman Solomon P. Ortiz Elementary. On behalf of the entire student body, faculty, and staff of Ortiz Elementary, we appreciate the commitment to excellence you continuously provide to all of us. It is with deep appreciation that we acknowledge 2 special board members who have so effortlessly given of their time to our school. Mr. Orlando Aguilar and Mr. Liceo Munoz have committed themselves as care partners for the school year. Mr. Aguilar is currently Ms. Lopez's 1st grade care partner. Mr. Liceo Munoz is currently Ms. Aramillo's 5th grade care partner. CARE, which stands for Caring Adults Reaching Everyone, is a program which allows community members to become true partners in education. As CARE partners, Mr. Aguilar and Mr. Munoz visit with their adopted classrooms once every 6 weeks. We invite all board members to feel free to visit Ortiz Elementary anytime. Thank you once again, all board members, for joining us in making Ortiz Elementary a successful school. At this time, we would like to present to each board member with a small token of appreciation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Got you, buddy. Oh, be careful. I got you. Congratulations.
Like a cookie?
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gang.
Thank you.
Now, what do I get?
Huh?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you brought me one? You didn't have it. Thank you. I got me one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of us.
That's very nice.
Is that an award? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Oh, yeah, I missed my candy, though.
Oh, thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Mr. Munoz, you better label those.
Next person is Marcela Villarreal and Thompson Roads, board recognition. Marcela Villarreal. Is there Marcela Villarreal and Thompson Roads? Going once, going twice, gone. Move on to Alicia Putnat, new school to be named. Go ahead, Ms. Putnat.
Mr. Pat Lehman, President, board members, Dr. Sokolsky. I am Alicia Putnat, or Mrs. Barry Putnat Sr. I come before you, and I'll be brief, to share something that I have always loved in our community, as well as many others in our community. This man was a wonderful educator, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of what this man represented to our community. This man's name was Mr. Ben Bright, and that's B-R-I-T-E. So we'll know what Bright we're talking about. Okay. Mr. Bright was one of 15 children born on a small farm around 40 miles south of San Antonio. Mr. Bright completed his education, and while he was in college, was a very, very noted athlete throughout the United States. After all of his education, Mr. Bright decided to come to Brownsville as a teacher and as a coach. And he was my husband's teacher when he was in junior college, as well as a coach too. And I'm sure there's many, many people, because I know there's two ladies here that knew Mr. Bright. You all are very young and you all don't know about Mr. Bright, but we want to refresh and share with you our wonderful memories of this wonderful educator. Mr. Bright came to Brownsville as a teacher and as a coach. Later, he became principal of the school, Brownsville High School. While being principal at Brownsville High School, he became the dean of the college there. We had a junior college there in that same area. He was the dean and then became the president of the junior college, as well as the superintendent of the Brownsville Independent School District. Okay. After that, that was in the 30s and in the 40s. And in the 60s, 1960, 61, and 62, Mr. Bright was our superintendent again in Brownsville. Mr. Bright dedicated his life to education. And I'm sure that your parents will probably have known him, and I know that there's probably a lot of people, well, there's a lot of people in Brownsville that knew and loved Mr. Bright as much as we love Mr. Bright. Mr. Betta, did you know him?
I sure did.
All right. Okay. So, all right. No. Mr. Bright was very active in our community. He was a president of the Brownsville Rotary Club in 1941 and 42. And he was also an active member of the Church of Christ. And in 1969, the city of Brownsville honored this man with April the 4th, 1969, as the Ben Bright Day. And well, I know that now that we've discussed a little bit about Mr. Bright, I want to ask our audience and also our TV audience if they want to let you all know how Mr. Bright affected their lives, to contact our board, and they can contact me too. Write us, let us know what important part Mr. Bright had in their life, especially in the education. And when I notified, Mr. Bright came here, married a Brownsville girl, had one daughter. She married a Brownsville boy. So there's a lot of ties to the Bright family in Brownsville, Texas. He came here, he gave his life here, he died here, and he's buried here. So if you all here in the audience or on our TV audience would like to write our board member, our distinguished board, you could write them and explain to them how Mr. Bright affected their lives. And their address is 1900 Price Road, 78521. And mine is 114 Robbins Lane, 78520. And people are getting very excited to know that. And I ask you, the Bright family and the Gannon family and all of us in Brownsville will be very, very grateful if you all would consider the nomination of Mr. Ben Bright. And thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Ms. Pina.
Thank you.
Next person is Alberto Alegria, AOBE, Board Recognition, Board Elections.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Solkowski, President Lehman, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alberto Alegria, the proud president of the Association of Brownsville Educators, 1,635 members strong. First, I would like to recognize each and every one of you for your leadership in the BISD Independent School District and the school board. I wish you a special day on the School Board's Recognition Month. We appreciate and thank you for your commitment to education. Now, our concerns. Special interest groups to me are individuals that carry their own personal agenda for the benefit of only them. At the last school board meeting on 12/6/05, special interest groups was defined and was expressed to its best term. The school board, under the direction of some idea that because of 1,040 school districts in Texas, 18 school districts were doing this, and even under the advice of their own organization, TASB, not to, they decided to change school board elections from May to November of 2006, in our opinion, to serve and benefit only them. Now, who really is a special interest group here? When we supported present school board members, we didn't support them so they would extend their school board stay. We supported them to oversee and protect the special interests of Brownsville ISD, which is the employees and the students of this great district. When a school board member goes out in public and personally attacks an association of being a special interest group, when the real truth is that for the last 126 years, I repeat myself, 126 years, TSDA and AOBE has made sure that all children and employees are assured of success in schools and equity in the workplace. Well, you've been misinformed about our real intentions. when you also express yourself publicly that you are voting for the change of election dates just because AOBE and TSTA is against it, ladies and gentlemen, I can read the sinister language between the lines. Organization, association, and union busters. Members of the board.
Mr. Alegria, are you grieving at this point?
No, sir.
Are you?
Comments.
Okay, I just want to make sure that.
It's just a comment, sir.
Okay, you understand that you have a process, whether you represent you or any other of the members, if you're discontent or not in agreement, but.
No, Mr. Lehman, I'm just making a comment, sir.
Okay, don't, I hope you're not going to attack anybody personally or anything
No,
like
sir.
that. Okay,
I think I haven't. Right? Okay. Members of the board, let it be known that the battle lines have been drawn, and we are ready for the challenge and the newcomers in December. No, ladies and gentlemen, we are not the special interest group. We are a double special interest group. We look out for the 48,000 students and the 7,500 employees when they are unjustly misrepresented. We are spectators of a negative trend in our school district board decision-making, similar to what has transpired for the last 8 years in the state legislature. As we, the voters, have allowed the Republicans to take over the House and the Senate, the Republican Party has been no less than relentless in attempting to destroy public education as we know it. Yes, we have some Republicans that are friendly to education, but there are few and far between. Public school finance is one great example of the Republican-led disappointment. Today, we are observing an attitude that is so conservative that it is obstructing the essential needs required for public education to be successful in the Brownsville Independent School District. I can assure you that if this trend continues, yes, you'll have a surmountable fund balance. However, schools will be empty of supplies, they will have outdated books or no books at all, and you will continue to see overcrowded classrooms, unqualified teachers, or even permanent substitutes teachers teaching our children all day. If that is a scenario you would like to see, then we need to keep the same players and the script remains the same. We hope that this is not the plan. Today, we see more negative pressure being placed on campus administrators, then transmitted to the educators to do well in the state assessment exam. This type of intimidating tactics towards the employees will not derive to anything positive in the workplace. AOBE, administration, and the school board must stress our campus educational leaders to continue working in a positive and respectable environment in order that we may reach success in the classroom and throughout the state. We must allow our staff and our teachers to work with dignity and educate with pride, and not subject them to pessimistic outcomes, outside programs, or time-consuming agendas that take away from their real job, which is to teach and to serve our students.
Mr. Alegria?
Yes, sir.
Wrap it up, please.
We're also witnessing custodial staff cleaning more space area with less workforce, a fatigue safety issue. We're observing less food service personnel serving more children in our cafeterias, a safety health concern. We hear of more underpaid clerks doing very important and strenuous paperwork, and we should not be surprised to see transportation making more routes in less time to accommodate savings in manpower costs, subjecting our children to educational service mediocrity, placing them in harm's way. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not your ordinary special interest group. We are the people you have entrusted us with your most precious commodity, your children. We are and we will continue to be the very best friends of students in public education and the employees. The Association of Brownsville Educators, the Texas State Teachers Association, and the National Education Association, 2.8 million members, are committed and will continue to correct the injustices and the inequities in the educational field for the next 126 years. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Next person is Maricelda Perez, AOBE, Board Appreciation. Maricelda Perez, AOBE. Is she present? Going once, twice, gone. George Borrego, AOBE, miscellaneous.
I guess it's good that we have January as Board Recognition Month, but
Since I'm here as often as I am, I recognize your commitment and your dedication on a weekly basis or semi-weekly basis in all you do for the schools. Thank you very much. We are all under a lot of pressure. And right now it is fashionable to blame George Bush, so I'm going to blame him. For those of you who know AYP and NCLB, that came from Washington. Unfunded mandates. Unfunded mandates that weren't well thought out, that could cause a school that is exemplary to be put on AYP. And I'm talking about a school that has 95% passing rate and they can still be in trouble. Consequently, Perry and his troops in Austin have been unable to solve many of the problems that we have. But the pressure is still on. We have to pass the test. That pressure goes down to the superintendent, and I understand. Goes down to you as a school board, and I understand. And then we have the front line, the principals, the teachers, and the support staff. What is happening? We need to take a break. We need to work together. And squashing your employees is not the way to do it. Morale is going to drop. What am I talking about? We're about to have a grievance heard, and it's an issue about time. Several schools have seen fit, and I understand this to some degree, to extend the school day for the teachers. And this is not an overtime issue or a pay time issue. It's an issue of the teachers are already doing the best that we can for you. Do not put us in that situation. What is the reality? The reality is that we're there way before we're required, and we stay after. But we do that because we care and because we want to, not because we're going to be forced to. And there's a big difference. And the morale is that big difference. And the issue is not, the issue here is who sets board policy? Does a principal have the right to extend the school day? Or do you? Or does the state? We need to understand the issue very clearly. If you allow principals to extend the school day, what else are you opening the door for?
Mr. Lehman.
There has been...
I'm
running?
Mr. Lehman.
You want to wrap it up? Please.
Almost.
Thank you. There has already been precedent set with a grievance heard by the school board some years back with Clearwater Elementary, where teachers were grieving the extension of the time, and the school board upheld for the teachers. All I ask is that you help us out in this issue, which is not to extend the school day unilaterally. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barrera. Last person is Beto Medrano. Greetings and concerns. Beto Medrano, going once, twice, gone. Thank you very much. This concludes the public audience portion of our meeting. We now move to closed meeting number 9 to hear A, Level 3 Board Review and Grievance as pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551.074 and 551.082. We go into closed meeting.
I don't know where you're going to get the change.
Board reconvenes from closed meeting to hear item 12A, board action on level 3 grievance, several members, number 00305-06. Is there a motion?
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I move that the grievance be granted, or that the remedies be granted as presented.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the relief. Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion lacks for a second. Or motion dies for lack of a second. We move on to consent agenda items.
Mr. President,
Yes,
just let the record reflect on item 12 that I recused, and I did not deliberate on any discussion.
And you did not take action. Okay. We move on to item number 11, consent agenda. Jail functions. I have received a list from my colleagues indicating that there is no need for discussion or deliberation on the following agenda items. Under A, recommend approval of the following general function items: 13, 15, 16, 18, 20. Under C, recommend approval of the following budget amendments: number 21, 22, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Under D, recommend approval of the following contracts and agreements: 32, 34, or did anybody have an item on 34? Okay, 34 is consent. 35, under E, recommend approval of the following petitions and applications: 36, 37. Under closed meeting, 12. Number A, personal matters, number 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 47, 48. Is there a motion to approve?
I believe I circled 48. You have 48?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You circled 48?
Yes, sir.
You want to okay, we'll remove that from consent.
46 and 48.
46 and 48. Okay, 48 is removed from consent. I'll repeat those in closed meeting. Number 12, consent items: A, personal matters, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, and 47. Is there a motion
I
to
move to
approve the
approve.
consent items?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the consent items as read. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimous. We move to our first discussion item under A, general function items. Number 17, recommend approval to add the positions of Gear Up Counselor Coordinator at 205 days, or 205 days, and Gear Up Family and Community Liaison at 202 days for the 2005-2006 school year and for the duration of the UTPA Gear Up program funding. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. Mr. Munoz.
Yes, I have several questions. How many hires are we talking about here?
Dr. Solkowski.
Dr. Garcia.
Dr. Zukowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. Mr. Munoz, it'll be one individual, one counselor, and one parent liaison for each one of the campuses. So there are 6 campuses. We're looking at 12 individuals.
6 plus 6. Will these be new people?
Dr. Garcia.
Essentially, most of these individuals are currently on the payroll. They will have to apply for the position. Of course, the principal will have to go through the same process. Once selected, then the salary, 40% of the salary for the professional person will be paid through the grant. We make up the difference of whatever the salary the individual makes. And that applies to both the certified person as well as the classified. So,
okay. So they will be displaced. Their positions that they're currently in. Someone
that
will
is
have
correct. So therefore, the FTE that they're vacating will then need to be filled by the campus.
May I continue?
Yes, sir.
Why 205 days and 202 days?
Essentially, the programs also require that they attend some meetings during the summer. And instead of being able to pay for them for the contract year and then provide an extension or it makes it easier for us to do it this way. We don't have to come back for additional days for these individuals, and it's covered during this contract period.
Okay. And what will we be able to count their salaries and benefit costs toward the in-kind contributions that we make in this effort for the $426,000 that are supposed to be our portion of this?
Our portion of it, it will be. In-kind, not necessarily as far as this, well, it is. It will be part of their in-kind. You're correct. Just like our total amount of $426,000, a lot of that would be our in-kind, which may include salaries, as well as the use of facilities, computer labs, things of that nature that are part of the program.
So I can see at an average of say, $50,000 a year for the certified, that's $300,000. So we're looking at least $450,000 in salaries for the 12 people, salaries and benefits. So probably more than $400,000. I'll ask it again. Will this expenditure on our part qualify for our matching funds of $426 for this total effort of $849,000?
Okay.
Where I'm going with this is I see that we're putting in $426,008 to an effort that's sold us, we're told is going to cost $849,000. Yet here we are coming up with another $400,000 or $500,000 in salaries.
Right. Essentially, the figures that you have there is what was presented to the board back in October, November, when you approved our going into this particular program. And at that point, we did indicate that the $849,000 would be the amount that we would get from the Department of Education through the GERA program at UTPA. The amount that we have to provide, the $426,000, includes both hard funds, hard monies, as well as in-kind contributions. We are in the process of determining exactly how we break that up. The $426, our obligation. We will provide for you a report that indicates the actual dollars and what we have put in under in-kind contributions that cover, office space, things of that nature.
Well, I would certainly think that $500,000 in salaries should be counted as part of the equation.
The only thing, though, is that when you look at the salary, we have to keep in mind that the grant is paying for part of the salary, which is about 40%. We're paying for the difference, and the difference may be 10, 15, or 20,000. It depends on the individual and the number of years' experience that the person has.
So, was it not possible to calculate and estimate the fiscal implications on this?
I'm sorry, sir.
Is it not possible then to calculate the approximate fiscal implications on this?
We can. Once we determine who the individuals are, you have some individuals who have more years of experience than others. And so it really depends on the individuals that will eventually be selected, so we can actually give you a complete breakdown, but it's not the 100% of the individual's FTE or salary. It will not come out, through our funding. Again, part of the funding is not an even split, 50-50. In essence, we're paying 60%. Actually, no, the grant will provide up to $40,000 of the professional salary, and we'll pay the difference of whatever that may be. But we'll get you or provide for the board an actual breakdown of what our cost will actually be, a complete breakdown of $426,000. How much of that will be salaries? How much of that will be in-kind contributions for the remainder of the grant? The amount that you have here is the actual amount per year over the next 5 years.
And we've deemed that these 2 positions per campus will indeed require full-time activity.
Yes, sir. They will.
Okay. Right. Additional comments? Yes.
Could you clarify then, is this another counseling position at that campus?
It is a counseling position that essentially becomes the coordinator of the GERA program for that campus. And the initiative will begin, of course, at the 7th grade level, and will follow the students every year, every succeeding year after that.
I guess my question is, we're not taking away a counselor to put into this position.
No, we are not. So as the individual gets selected at the campus, it will create a vacancy out of our current funding, which then will need to be filled by the campus administration.
And these, they will have a counselor certificate?
Absolutely. That is one of the requirements.
Additional comments? There's a motion and a second to approve item 17. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Move on to B, recommend approval of the following payments. 19, recommend approval to pay ACR Engineering Incorporated $105,244.85. Ambiotech Civil Engineering Services, $11,745. Goading and Associates Incorporated, $1,545.94. Gomez Mendez Science Incorporated, $4,299.60. PBK Architects, $31,486. Robert Kistner Consultants Incorporated, $247.41. American Contracting USA, $133,692.55. GNT Paving, $345,948.26. Jamail Construction Incorporated, $48,095.46. JDS Construction Company Incorporated, $297,990.30. Ortiz Construction, $47,451.37. Scoggins Construction, $555,707.25, for a grand total of $1,583,453.99 to be paid from local maintenance funds. Is there a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Item 19, discussion. Mr. Munoz.
Yes, I just have some observations. I noticed on page 133 that the satellite transportation station, the engineering is going along. We're probably close to wrapping it up, and the location is still the southmost Bastedo location. The other item that I'd like to point out to you or request, and I think we've discussed it before, is if possible, it would be nice if all of our billing documents would utilize the AIA standard form. It's for uniformity. It's kind of hard to read some of these different things that contractors submit, and on hard to read, it was very difficult, very difficult to read the GNT documents. A lot of them were redacted and poor copies, and of course the Ortiz documents were very hard to read also. But I went through these numbers and the whole thing, and it appears to be correct. But as I said, it would be a lot easier to do so if the documents were clear. Thank you.
Dr. Salkowski?
We'll get that, Mr. Munoz. That one was really difficult to see on one page. There was a lot of writing on it.
Additional comments? There's a motion, a second, to approve item 19. Is there, let's show our hands. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Move on to C, recommend approval of the following budget amendments. Number 26, recommend approval of budget amendment number 78 in the amount of $119,890 for Fund 164 State Vocational Education, State Career and Technology Categorical Fund Balance. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve. Second.
Motion and second. Discussion, Mr. Munoz. Item 26.
This is budget to purchase furniture and equipment for the Central Administration Annex for Career and Technology Department.
Sure.
Where is this money coming from?
Lorenzo?
Board members, this is career and technology money, and it's a fund balance that they have. When the state, they get contact hours for all the students who sign up for their specific courses in career and technology. That's how they get funded, contact hours. And the state allows the district 15% off the top of the allotment to be used for whatever purpose it is. And so this dollar amounts that you see here before you is at 15% that administration can use, and therefore we're using that for furniture and a computer lab for staff development at Central.
Okay, that's what confused me. I saw function 13 staff development and function 21 leadership, instructional leadership, and I was wondering how you could use that to buy hard goods.
Basically, that's an accounting way to kind of have to bring it to you. We couldn't figure out any other way other than that.
But they allow you to take off 15%.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Additional comments? Thank you. There's a motion, a second to approve. Sorry. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raising your hand. Motion carries unanimous. Move on to D. Recommend approval of the following contracts and agreement. No, that was not done. No, I'm sorry. Disregard. I circled that or had it marked, but it was not circled. Okay, going off to F. Recommend approval of the following requests for qualifications. RFQ 38. Recommend approval for RFQ number 6-033 to accept a negotiated fee of 6% with ACR Engineering Incorporated, Harlingen, Texas, to provide engineering design service for the 2005-2006 HVAC upgrades project in the amount not to exceed $151,800. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Motion and second. Discussion, Mr. Munoz.
Yes, sir. I have several questions. On this project, let's see here. Is this work going to include any of the pans underneath the RTUs, or is it just the RTUs and the air handlers?
Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Dr. Sokowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. It's going to it's as the complete change out and any type of work that the engineer feels that's necessary, including the pans if necessary, including any electrical upgrades that might need to be done in order to get the new systems on. Systems are pretty old; they're 20 years old or so they might need some upgrades even in electrical. So the scope of work will be determined by the engineer as far as how much is needed once he does his inventory. And Miles Ponders is here from ACR, certainly.
Well, along that line, may I continue?
Yes, sir.
Along that line, on page page 281 and page 282, I see a letter from Mr. Virial to Mr. Tapia, in which he is along with the assistance of our air conditioning foreman, gathered the information for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 schools. And on page 282, he did an estimate. Of the work. This is the same estimate that the engineer is coming up with, or I see on is this the same number that the engineer is going to base his fee on?
Mr. Munoz, members of the board, what we do whenever we've already selected, the board has already approved ACR as the engineer to do this project. We're negotiating a fee, and it's 6% of our estimated budget. Now, that's the way we've always done it in this district. We estimate the budget based on past experiences of how much it's going to cost to do this. So if it comes out more, he's still stuck with 6% of the estimated budget. If it comes out less, he might gain a little bit of money.
But what I'm getting at is
we estimate the budget.
We've estimated this number, which the architect has readily agreed to do this work for $151,800. I'm wondering, did we put the cart before the horse, or?
No, because we have to negotiate a fee with the engineer. We could certainly go and say a percentage and then of the actual cost, which other districts, and we've done in the past, but it certainly does not give them an incentive to stay within our budget. This gives them the incentive to stay within our budget because that's all they're going to get. If it costs more, they still only get 6% of our estimated budget, not more.
Well,
if otherwise they could really write it up, and it's still 6% then of actual cost. So we like to have a pretty good estimate of what we're going to be doing, and they have to agree to that's the budget.
Well, I think it's just my opinion, of course. I think that this $2.5 million, predicated upon what I see here, the tonnage, and it was done at an average of $2,100 a ton, about $2,000 to $2,100 a ton. That's pretty healthy fee. That's a pretty healthy number.
We have a lot of split units. Split units usually come out higher than the rooftop units, and we took into consideration how many splits we had and how many rooftop units we had, and so that's how we come up. And if you look at the actual one that's going to be up for approval tonight, you'll see the costs on the splits versus the RTUs, and depending on the condition they're in and how much replacement and upgrades are going to be done. Okay. I think it's a pretty fair estimate. It's hard to hit it right on the nail, but it's a pretty fair estimate to work with.
I bet it'll get hit right on the nail.
We hope so. Yeah. That's what we budgeted for.
Okay. And what, let me just go back a little bit. What is the engineer going to do for this fee? Are these just change-outs? Is he going to change it out using, does he have our criteria as to the energy efficiency of the units we would like to see?
Absolutely. What we have done, we go ahead and get with our departments, with our maintenance and any consultants that we might have, and actually look at what we need. He will try to fit us into the most energy efficient products he can give us concerning this. He will have to do all the engineering design, draw up all the specs, put out the bidding process. Everything has to be done through this engineer. It's also a requirement of law that we do this. So it's totally his responsibility to come up with the design, the replacement, any electrical upgrades, anything that has to be done for this bid, and actually put the bid out, open the bids, evaluate the bids, and so on and so forth. So it's it's sort of a turnkey all the way through. So we provide a lot of information to him.
Looking at some of these units anywhere from 15 to 23 years old.
Right.
I guess. So they are going to, being the engineer, is going to physically go to the school, probably talk to the principal and the maintenance guy, or talk to our maintenance people and find out if we have any problems there. You know, a lot of things can happen in 20, 25 years.
Right.
In other words, technology has changed, conditions at the schools have changed. Perhaps
correct.
What we come back with might need modification.
Exactly.
Is that going to be included?
Yes, that's part of the fee.
Okay.
That's part of his fee, having to do, and he'll be checking with, and we're real fortunate that we have people on staff now that can really give him a clear-cut picture of what, Jerry's very good. He's handled AC before. He was going to work with them before and during and after the projects. And they'll be talking to them as well as maintenance, Conrad, and all that staff over there, what's the problems that they've had. And if need be, visit with the principals and see if there are any particular hot spots or cool spots to be able to work with these things out and get them to the upgrades that we need.
Did we run any of this by our energy consultant?
As far as the cost estimates, no.
No, the specs and so forth?
We haven't done the specs yet.
No, but I mean...
We will.
We will?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, because back November 1st, we made it very, very clear that we were going to utilize our energy consultant and things like this.
And we have Mr. Martinez and Conrad, and all of them will be working together, as well as Mr. Otero and everybody working on this thing together.
Okay. All right.
Additional questions? Additional comments? To follow up, Dr. Salkowski, who is Miles Ponder?
With the engineer.
Engineer.
He's here. Miles?
Here.
No, I just want to know. There's
See
a
him back
carbon.
there.
There's a sincerely Mondes. There's a carbon copy to Miles Ponder. I don't remember hiring Miles Ponder.
He is the ACR. He's part of ACR engineering.
ACR people.
Miles Ponder. Okay.
Yeah.
And who got? Okay. So he does. He works for
ACR.
Okay. Because there was a carbon copy. I'll follow up on that one. Okay. There's a motion and a second to approve item 38. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion carries 5-1. Move on to item 39. Recommend awarding RFQ.
Legal service.
39. Recommend awarding RFQ 6-35 for legal services for special education and 504 district-wide to Walsh, Anderson, Brown, Schultz, and Albright. Albridge, Austin, Texas for 2005-2006 school year. Services to be provided subject to the district's needs and funding. Annual qualifications. Is there a motion to approve?
Move. I'll second.
There's motion and a second. Discussion, Mr. Kalunga.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. The question I had, is there any progress in looking at the district's need and funding? Is there any progress in the conflict resolution that would prevent increases in legal services for special ed?
Ms. Fox? No? A conflict resolution where you would meet prior to. It might be something you take up with this new firm. I don't think we made any progress that I know of. I mean, we've had a couple meetings, but they were forced. What I'm saying is maybe the new firm, and you in your documents you saw how many people presented. This is a well-known firm. You've used their firm actually before I came here. You used Joe De Los Santos with this firm, so you've used this firm before. We've used a couple of them to do training, especially on documentation. It's a well-renowned firm, and so that's our recommendation. Quite a few Valley schools use this firm. Am I not right, Mike?
Yes, sir. Mr. Lehman?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kalunga, every effort is made by Special Services, prior to entering into any due process hearings to try and resolve as many matters as we can amicably. And in the past, that there has been some success in that, and it is always an option that is on the table for any type of proceeding over at Special Services.
Thank you.
Additional comments? There's a motion and a second to approve item 39. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Move on to G. Recommend approval of the following requests for proposals, RFPs. 40. Recommend approval to award RFP number 6-048 to Central Air and Heating Services, Harlingen, Texas, for construction services for the HVAC replacement project district-wide in the amount not to exceed $2,100,000 project subject to the district's needs and funding. Motion to approve.
Move. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve item 40. Discussion, Mr. Munoz.
Yes. First question is how many bidders were there on this?
Mr. Gonzalez, two? Two.
Page 289.
Or two?
Yeah.
Okay. And looking at the details, it appears that Hannah is the lion's share of the cost here. I see that the average age of the units is 15, 16 years. Are we having problems with these units right now?
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Serious problems?
Yeah, we're having problems. They need to be replaced. We're sending a lot of work orders out there. It's time to replace those, especially the split systems.
Okay. And on the split systems, we are replacing the entire system.
The entire system. And we did do some at Hannah already. The air handler part, we need to come in with the rooftop part of it. So we're not going to replace those that do not need replacements, but those that do need replacements, we will. We've been working at Hannah. It's a tough one, and it's got rooftop units that are complete units, and then we have the split systems. And some of the split systems, because they've been so deteriorated, maintenance has come in there and fixed. So we're not replacing all of them, but those that do need replacement, we are.
So this is this has already gone out to the contractor and it's already spec'd.
It's already been bidded, yes, sir.
It's already been bid and spec'd.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to involve our energy consultant at this stage. Then it's kind of late, huh?
Kind of late for that one. But they're all real good units. I mean, there's you can ask the engineer. They're top of the line and pretty well spelled out in the letter as to what we've exceeded all the recommendations concerning energy efficiency.
Well, what is the exceed? When you say exceeded how? By what? From what standard?
From the standard.
I saw something that said we were 30% over, but 30% what? The old standard or current standard or?
Well, it's the standards being used by the industry, which is it's the International Energy Code.
I saw that, yes.
And all of those. So, but as technical as that is, Mr. Ponders is here if you want to ask him, if it's okay with Dr. Sokowski.
Yes, I'd like to know.
Mr. Ponders, would you go to the mic and answer that question for me, please?
Hi, I'm Miles Ponder with ACR Engineering.
The efficiencies on all of the units that through this project are about as high as you can possibly get in commercial grade equipment. The ones at hand, I don't know specifically how much they all of our package units fall around 12 EER, which translate to about a 14 SEER, and so there's none higher. As a matter of fact, CPNL, or AEP, not CPNL anymore, has given the school district $30,000, or given us $30,000 for designing units that are very efficient, for which we have given to the school for efficiency, for increasing the efficiencies.
The EER's rating is 14, and what the split top systems, are those the SWERs?
No,
all EWERs.
The EER rating is a commercial rating. The SEER rating is a residential rating. The EER ratings of your equipment going in out here ranges from about 11.5 to up to 13.
And what is the new minimum? I think it went into effect this year, didn't it?
10 on, 10 EER.
10?
Mm-hmm. EER.
And how high does that system go?
EER, I don't know how high the equipment goes. SEER, you can get all the way up to 20 SEER, but that's residential grade equipment.
Yes. Well, I understand EER is my understanding that it was probably minimum now was 11 or 12, and it goes up to 17 or 18.
I think 10. The 2003 codes, the codes for which y'all use in Brownsville, 10, I believe, is the minimum rate.
And what do we have currently on average?
Oh, well, 12, 13 EER.
That's what we have. No, I mean right now.
Oh, what you have now? Oh, shoot. 9, but you're probably not operating it at that.
Right.
It's probably somewhere in the 5 or 6 as far as the condensers go.
Okay. Well, I would still suggest that we run this by our energy guy.
Sure.
Even at this stage.
Sure.
I'd like to know what he sees here.
Sure. I'll run it by.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Additional comments? This is what I was making reference, page 290 and 291. ACR Engineering, the carbon copy Ponder, Miles Ponder, that's why. And I guess couldn't pronounce the other guy's name, but I just didn't know who you were.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ponder.
Thank you all.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve item 40. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Hello.
I'm going to abstain.
You will abstain after deliberation, okay? There's a 5, 4, and 1 abstention. You got that, Norma? Motion carries, or motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to 7, closed meeting as pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.74, 551.082, and 551.084. Board goes into closed meeting. Board reconvenes after closed meeting. We'll take item number 46, recommend approval of term contractual personnel for the 2005-2006 school year, special secondary math, subject to the receipts of all outstanding documentation. Do I have a motion?
Move. I second.
Motion second. Motion and second to approve item 46. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Move on to item 48. Recommend approval of probationary contractual personnel for the 2005-2006 school year. Teacher, subject to the receipt of all outstanding documentation. Is there a motion?
Yes.
Move.
Motion?
Yes.
Second. Motion to approve. All those in favor signify by saying yes or aye or raising your hand.
Yes.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 40, annual summative evaluation of the superintendent.
49.
49. Motion.
Motion. Yes. Move to approve superintendent's evaluation as discussed in executive session.
A motion, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
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 Mr. Lehman?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to be the one to inform everybody that the evaluation went very well. And this is a team of 8, and that we, as overall as a board, is supportive of the superintendent and his leadership and his fiscal responsibility to the district. And we're very proud to say they have Dr. Sikorsky under his leadership and helm at BISD.
Dr. Solkowski?
I just want to thank all those board members that supported me. I appreciate that, and my staff.
Thank you very much. Move on to item 50. Recommend approval on litigation matters discussed in closed meeting. Is there a motion?
Mr. Lehman, Mr. President, I move to approve the settlement with Assured Indoor Air Quality as discussed in executive session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the motion that Mr. Powers just made. Is all those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Another motion?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the settlement agreement in cause number 2005-03-001557-A, Villarreal VW Mutual of Omaha and BISD as discussed in executive session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and second to approve the item that Mr. Powers just read. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Real estate, Doc, we don't have anything, right? No real estate?
No real estate.
Okay. All righty. Item number 13, announcements, facilities. Number 52, facilities committee meeting. We're still on, right? January 24th, Doc?
Yes, sir.
2006. It'll be at the administration building at 5:30. 53, next scheduled board meeting, Board of Trustees on Tuesday, February 7th, 2006, at the administration building at 5:30. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Is there a second? Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Good night.